Do you know how sometimes it just feels like the right time to kick off something new? Especially after like a break or a long weekend or even the start of the year. That surge of possibility, like you could reinvent yourself. Well, what if I told you that feeling, that surge of possibility isn't limited to special dates like January the 1st and our New Year's resolutions? And that August might actually be the secret weapon to business transformation that most self-employed people actually never discover. Right now could be the perfect time to hack your brain's reset button. In this video, I'm going to share with you the neuroscience behind why fresh starts are your secret weapon for boosting motivation and momentum. First, we'll explore what temporal landmarks actually are, aka fresh starts. Why they fire up your brain and why do we respond so powerfully to them? Then I'll walk you through my 3-step framework that you can use anytime that you feel stuck or have a lack of motivation or you just want that little boost to start moving you forward. And finally, I will share with you the psychological trick that makes any calendar date feel powerful and puts you fully in control of where you are now and where you want to be. Because the truth is, the power to reset and reframe at any time really puts the control back in your hands as someone who is freelancing and self-employed. And really that's where it belongs, right? It's really about giving you a renewed sense of control when things start feeling overwhelming or like you're lacking behind or you just don't know where to start. And we're not just talking about goals. We're talking about you taking meaningful steps towards the version of you that you really want to become. And that's how change really sticks, when your actions align with your aspirations. If you don't know me already, hello you beautiful souls. I'm Jerry and welcome to my channel. And after 20 years of freelancing, being self-employed, studying 2 masters and having coaching accreditations, I've discovered that most self-employed people are missing this crucial thing. So let's talk about shaking off that lack of motivation and getting focused and finding clarity by using these fresh start tactics. I know that being self-employed can feel like an absolute emotional roller coaster. An emotional roller coaster with no safety harness. One day you're on top of the world, you have a new client win, and the next day you could literally be staring at your bank account at 3 a.m. in the morning, wondering if you've made a massive mistake and if you're actually up for this freelancing self-employed lifestyle. And let's not talk about what most self-employed people go through in January. They're either on holiday loving life or they're having a huge January come down where there's no work, it's really dark, and it feels like the whole world has taken a break. Unlike traditional employed people who have a natural rhythm where they get weekends, holidays, sick pay, and have a routine with a company cycle, self-employed people like myself can sometimes feel like you're stuck in an endless loop where each day can blend into the next, and before you know it, the months have gone by and it's the end of the year and you're not quite sure what was working and what wasn't working and where to go next. And instead of making conscious, considered, strategized thoughts towards where you want to go, you're just kind of going with the flow, hoping that things work out. And you'll find yourself working from your kitchen table where it often feels like there's no natural reset button. No clear Monday morning fresh start to kick off. And here's what makes things even worse. Stopping actually starts to feel like a luxury you just can't afford to take. You take a weekend off, you feel guilty. You go on vacation, you have anxiety. There and coming back and also going. And it's like a triple guilt because you're not making any money and you're spending it at the same time. And you could be missing opportunities. It really sometimes feels like you just can't win. Please do drop me a comment and tell me what is your biggest motivation killer as someone who is freelancing, self-employed, even running your own business. Here is what I've discovered after 20 years in this game and studying the psychology behind motivation. Your brain is actually wired for fresh starts. You just need to know when to trigger them. So you're asking me, how do you actually create those fresh start moments? How do we trigger our brain into thinking it's not just another day, it's a new day? How do we create those powerful reset moments? Before I share my framework, you need to understand why this works to then want to continuously do it. Because when you know the science, you'll never doubt the power of fresh starts again. Here's what's really mind-blowing. Research by behavioral scientists found that people are 33% more likely to visit the gym after temporal landmarks, aka what we're calling fresh starts, what they're calling birthdays, January the 1st, or the start of a new month. And that, my friend, is when the quarterlies come into play. And here is what is truly mind-blowing and really exciting for people who are freelancing and self-employed. It's not just about a sudden burst of motivation, willpower, and discipline. Brain scans actually show that when you encounter one of these fresh start moments or create it for yourself, it lights up a specific part of your brain. Hold on, this is a tongue tie. This is a tongue twister. The anterior cingulate cortex. I know, it's a mouthful. Don't worry, I'm not going to quiz you on how to spell it. This part of your brain is in charge of controlling your thoughts, helping you make decisions, and managing your emotions. It's easy if you think of your brain's planning center a bit like a switch, and Fresh Start, they flip the switch, making it easier to commit to new goals and also remove old habits. And here's why it really matters for you when your brain encounters these moments. Your brain releases dopamine in the anticipation of the reward. I mean, come on. So that's like your natural motivation center releasing these spikes when it's like the new year or starting the gym or going to eat healthy. Dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. It's pretty cool, right? Your brain is basically giving you a natural fist bump for new beginnings. And what's even better, keep these fresh start to short term. Short-term goals are just so much easier to tackle. So when motivation spikes because you've set a fresh start date, use those for the important quick wins in your business or in your life. Just take a moment and ask yourself, can you think of a time when a fresh start moment actually worked for you? So when you decided that you were going to go to the gym, or you were going to get healthy, or you were going to start a new project, or you were going to leave your 9-to-5 and become a freelancer, just when, if you think back, when did you naturally do this idea of a fresh start, but you didn't know you were doing it? It could have even been a random Tuesday, but something just clicked and you just got a boost of emotion to get going. Drop me a comment and tell me about it, because I do love hearing these stories. Now, you could be saying, Jerry, I know all about goals, habits, and routines, and that's not my problem. It's the sticking to them. I hear you loud and clear. And here's why: because setting goals as a freelancer, someone who's self-employed, even sometimes a business owner, they can fail us. And the reason why is because we're not living in a structured, routine, stable, and predictable environment. And there is no one to keep you accountable, unless you're working with me, of course. But in a company, you have all of those things set up for you. So they basically get you to run like clockwork. And they're going to be regularly checking in with you and readjusting you. Where when you're on your own, there is no one doing that for you unless you're working with somebody like myself, or you're doing it for yourself, which can be very difficult when you've also got so many other things going on around you. I totally get it. And this is why people always revert back to the idea of a New Year's resolution, because it feels so achievable right at the beginning. And your brain is literally wired to take advantage of that moment. These events, they help your brain draw a clear line between what was and what will be, making those psychological fresh starts feel real and memorable. What's even more incredible is our brain actually tag. Yes, they hashtag our memories with when they happened, making moments like January the 1st feel really unique and distinctive and powerful for new beginnings. So if you were to tag your quarterlies, like Q1 to Q4, as moments for fresh start, this will make it so much easier for you to stick to them for the 3 months, the 12 weeks, and then build on that for the following fresh start quarterly. I know, I'm basically asking you to hack your own brain, but I know that you can do it. And trust me, it works. The science says so. If this neuroscience stuff is blowing your mind like it did mine when I first learned it, please give this video a thumbs up because it helps other people who are freelancing and self-employed and coming into this world discover this content. So please help me support others. Okay, so now you've got a bit of a grasp on the neuroscience. It's ultimately about putting it into action. So here is my 3-step framework that will support you in taking the steps to figure out when you want to start your fresh date. When you want to start your fresh start dates. When you want to start your fresh start date. That is a mouthful. Step 1 is all about timing. So first, you have to work with your brain's natural timing preferences to create these reset buttons. That's by giving yourself those intentional fresh starts instead of letting the days and the months blend into each other. You're going to set a specific date that continually acts as your fresh start dates. I invite you to start by setting up quarterly anchors. Think of them as your 90-day business or life reset. And a great way to do this is by picking the first Monday of the January, April, July, and October. I either pick the Monday or the Sunday. It really depends, like if I want to be prepared for the Monday, but honestly, if you want to do it on a Sunday or a Monday, it really is up to you. Go mark these dates in your calendar right now. Treat them like sacred appointments with your future self, because really that's what they are. They're dedicated moments for you to refresh and refocus and reset. And this way you can really start setting yourself up for each quarter. And this will help you feel less anxious and less overwhelmed as someone who is self-employed. Tell me which quarter has been your strongest this year. Tell me where your wins have been. And if you can remember why it was a win, and again, what piqued your motivation? Let me know in the comments. For me, I actually love a January. I know that it's dark and gloomy, but I also find that it's low and calm, and everyone is kind of getting back to work, so there's this real feel of momentum in the air. I like to take my time. I like to use the first 2 weeks of the month as my reset for my business and for myself. I want to check in with my health and I check in with my business. And I might even go and treat myself to a spa. And for the second 2 weeks, I review what's not been working, where have my values adjusted, what do I want for myself going forward for the next 3 months? And I start strategizing how I'm going to plan that out. What does that look like for me? And really, it gets me fired up. It really gives me a buzz because I feel like January is like, yes, my reset month. And I'm really excited for what's going to be happening in the next 2 to 3 months. And I always think it's great to have a look at what's been happening and what needs my attention, what needs more of it, and what needs less. For example, YouTube. I started it in January. And I think every time I was going to start my YouTube channel, it was always going to be at the on a quarterly anchor. And yeah, I think it was like the first Monday or a Sunday. And I was like, right, I'm going to start it. But it definitely happened in January. I didn't do the first, but my motivation started then. I think it was like mid-January. Maybe after the second 2 weeks. It does work and it just really gets you going, sets you up, gets you motivated and moving. Step 2. Once you have your timings locked in, step 2 is about creating mental separation between past patterns and future possibilities. So I invite you to ask yourself 3 specific questions. Are you ready? What patterns served me in the last quarter? And think about them as kind of like your routines and your habits. What patterns held me back? If that continued, it's going to take me down a path that could maybe hinder my motivation, my well-being, and where I see myself in the future. And also ask yourself, what would your future self do differently? So when you think about who you want to become, and also like maybe people that you kind of look up to or are intrigued by and see what they do as a inspiration, what would my future self be doing? And I bring this back to when I started the channel. I visualized who I want to be and where I want to go in the future. And I ask myself that question when I feel like I just want to watch Netflix and binge, or I have no motivation to do what's required to build this channel. And I ask myself, what would my future self say to me? And how do I see myself in the future? And where do I want to go? And is this pattern going to help me get there? When we talk about setting intentions and reviewing your progress on these dates, there is a crucial step. And it's not something that we do anymore, but it's actually really vital. Write down your answers and plans, because science has shown that writing makes it more concrete in your mind. Writing isn't just about jotting it down and reflections or a nice to have. What you're actually doing is something much more powerful. You're engaging again in neurological wiring. Honestly, when you put pen to paper, your brain is literally creating new neural pathways. I mean, if that's not a reason to get writing, I just don't know what is. You're physically building new pathways that help your brain draw the line between where you are, your past self, and where you want to be. The future self, the one that you're actively becoming. And by doing this every quarter, you're just creating new habits and releasing the old ones. You're reviewing and reflecting on yourself continuously. And you are getting rewarded by dopamine hits. Basically, your brain is updating its own operating system, creating new chapters. If you're finding value in this framework, then please make sure to subscribe, because I share psychological and coaching techniques for us glorious self-employed and freelancing people. I would love it if you can help me support other people on this journey. Now, step 3 is about building momentum that's actually sustainable. This is where you bring all that fresh energy into movement. For step 3 is creating the momentum bridge. I invite you to choose one specific action that you want to take in the next 48 hours that clearly represents your fresh start. Now, we're not talking about a massive overhaul, because that's exhausting. Just something small, just one concrete step that signals to your brain that change has truly begun. It could be something like reorganizing that cluttered corner with all your kissing, all your props, anything that you use for your projects, for your job. Or reaching out to just one potential client because you felt like you weren't ready or you didn't have the confidence. And all you have to do is write one small pitch email. Or setting up a new digital system that keeps you all organized and helps you slowly move your business forward. It's just about the key action. It's not about perfection. Now, here's that psychological trick that I promised you. And it's how to make any date feel powerful. How to make any date feel like January the 1st, that new year feeling. And it's called temporal tagging. Back to the hashtags. And it works like this. You're going to mentally tag any date as significant by creating a small ritual around it. Get out the feathers, get out the sage, and let's get dancing. It could be something as simple as expressing something aloud by saying, today marks the new beginning of my approach to client outreach. Write it down. Today, type it somewhere, speak it out loud, feel the truth behind what you're saying. Feel the energy behind what you're saying. The key is using specific language that signals to your brain a new beginning, because when you declare something as a fresh start, your brain treats it as one. You're literally programming your own reset buttons. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Why bother with these steps? because this framework builds logically one step at a time, moving you slowly through a simple mindset shift to taking real, practical action. The instructions are specific enough that you know exactly what to do, but also flexible so that they can work around you and your self-employed freelancing business lifestyle and goals. If you've ever tried creating your own fresh start dates before this, please do let me know in the comments. I would love to hear how they went. Right, let's do a quick recap of what we've covered today and let's cement it in our minds, because I want to make sure that you have everything you need to start creating these fresh start moments for yourself. We started by understanding that your brain actually responds to new beginnings in a very specific way. Those fresh start dates, they trigger dopamine and they activate your prefrontal cortex. Then we walked through my fresh start framework. First, you create the anchors. There's quarterly reset date that become appointments for your future self. Secondly, you delve into your reset ritual and ask yourself those 3 specific questions, and they'll help you separate from what's been working to what's holding you back. And thirdly, you build momentum with one concrete action in the next 48 hours. What I want you to remember, it isn't about a massive overhaul or getting anything right immediately or anything about perfection. It's really about giving yourself the opportunity to be able to refocus and rebuild your motivation when times get difficult. This is about working with your brain's natural functions rather than working against them. Because if you've been struggling with momentum and motivation, that's completely normal. We all go through those phases. But unlike people who are employed, you really do it alone. And this framework is there to help you gently reset that momentum, providing you with the right psychological tools. Because what I really want you to take away from this is that every time you feel stuck or unmotivated, it's just a sign that your brain is asking for a reset. Oh, and one more thing, this really does connect perfectly to everything that we just covered. Well, there's one fresh start that no one prepares you to as someone who is self-employed, and that is coming back from a vacation. I mean, seriously, have you ever tried to go from reading a book by the pool to then coming back to being in superior business mode immediately? I definitely can't do it. It's literally like asking your brain to do gymnastics, and it's pretty exhausting. And let's be honest, sometimes you come back from holiday feeling like you need another one. So next week, I'm diving deep into from vacation mode to CEO mode, because honestly, it used to wreck me going on holiday. I'd feel more stressed and more anxious coming back than when I left. And that's not exactly the point of a vacation for us self-employed people. I'm going to be sharing my complete post-break reactivation protocol. I know it sounds official, but honestly, it's not. It's basically how I learned to ease my way back into work without wanting to book another holiday immediately. And there is this one strategy that actually makes me more productive after a time off. I know it sounds a bit backwards, but stick with me. So if you ever struggle to get back into your groove, because I know that I have, make sure you subscribe with the notifications on, because this one's going to be really helpful. Before you go, I just want to share something with you that might help you put all this into practice. I've created this daily planner called Live by Your Values. And honestly, it's become my secret weapon with staying aligned with what really matters to me. And it's not just another planner, it's rooted in coaching psychology and designed specifically for people like me and you who need that intentional space for mindset work and creativity. You'll also get my reset and realign journal, which is perfect for those deeper check-ins when you're really processing a lot and feeling a bit stuck. And you know, if you want to work together more closely, I do offer for a very limited time clarity one-to-one coaching session. All the links are down below in the description. It's been fun. Thanks for tuning in, and in the meantime, keep rising and keep thriving, and I will see you in the next one.